this content is for kids.
It's not for kids.
Isn't that what I said?
No, it's not for kids. If you are 13 years or younger, this is not for you. Do I have to kill somebody in order to actually make that point across?
No, man, you don't have to kill
Wait
no one.
a second.
No.
When we return to our planet, the High Court may well sentence you to torture.
He likes movies, we like movies. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world. I'd buy that for $1.
Greetings! You're watching SeptumSin versus the world. I'm SeptumSin. This is Kotobukijake.
Hey,
And we're here to show you what we got.
some good stuff.
Show me what you got. I want to see what you got. Oh boy.
Yeah, well, yes, definitely. I have something very unusual for me. I'm actually doing a theme pickup. Which usually he does the theme pickups around here.
And that will be.
But mine
A partial thing.
is a theme about a director. A Mr. Wes Anderson, to be exact.
Mm-hmm.
I did a lot of criterioning over the month, and I picked up pretty much, I had 0 criterions for Wes Anderson prior to this month.
Really?
Well, not 0.
I was
I
going to
had
say.
2 criterions for Wes Anderson prior to this month, and now I have all of them. So I'm going to show off what I have upgraded. So let's start off with Bottle Rocket. Look at that beautiful Criterion cover right there. You can see it. This is his first film that I know of, like first full film, I guess it is. And I didn't like it.
You really?
No, I didn't like it.
I liked it a lot.
That's kind of cool looking right there. Of course, I want to give it another shot because it's been years since I've watched it. But
Co-written by and co-starring the brothers Wilson.
and there's the actual one. You'll see a theme on how these Wes Anderson Criterion covers look, with the exception of, I believe, one. And it's still pretty cool looking though. And I am looking forward to checking it out again. I mean, this is kind of a cheap as fuck copy.
Yeah.
So it's kind of good to have this up and about. So I am looking forward to trying it again. Maybe Second Chances Month would be a good one for this.
Oh.
I didn't hate it when I saw it, but I was very... what's the word? Disappointed? Maybe disappointed.
See, Anderson's an acquired taste, and I feel like I had a similar thing with Rushmore. The first time I saw it, I was like, what's the big deal? But later I was like, I like this. This is good stuff. But you kind of got to get into it, you know what I mean? So, I think this will be a good segue. Speaking of acquired tastes, although one that we probably don't necessarily want most of the time. This is, we're going to polish off the ones that I got from him, from his father's passing along. We've got one, again, it involves taste, but probably not the kind that we necessarily want to acquire for ourselves, and that is a film called Soylent Green, which I have actually never seen. And this definitely falls squarely in the category of, hell yeah, I'll pick that up. Now it'll give me an excuse to sit it on the pile and not watch it for other reasons.
It is Soylent Green is a well-done sci-fi epic of sorts. The problem with Soylent Green, I have a hard time watching it because there's nothing graphic about it.
Right.
It's just The reason my father
Depressing?
liked it was probably the main thing, and I'm not going to depress all of you. But let's just say that the last time I watched it, I did not. It left a bad taste in my mouth. But I do have a copy of it, and it's, I don't know where it is, somewhere. It's over there somewhere.
Okay.
You know?
Good times. Well, I imagine this will probably also come up with the movie group eventually.
Oh, I mean, it is.
It's
It is an
almost
important
guaranteed.
film.
Yeah.
It's an important film.
Hmm.
So, one of the films that, the first Wes Anderson film I ever saw was Rushmore.
Hmm. It might have been the first for me.
Oddly enough, I really liked Rushmore when I saw it, which is why I think I was disappointed in Bottle Rocket, because I saw Bottle Rocket, I want to say that was the second one I saw of his, and I really liked Rushmore, and I was thinking that Bottle Rocket was going to be a lot like Rushmore, and I was wrong.
Bottle Rocket is definitely atypical for his films.
So I got, of course, I upgraded that to this Criterion version, which of course you can see that art that they do, the kind of simplistic art, and the special features I think are the fact that they only have a theatrical trailer as the special features for this one. This one has a lot more to it than that, so that's kind of cool. You have this Criterion one?
I have it on DVD. It's one I need to upgrade to Blu-ray.
So sort of like what I've got there.
I've got a couple of them on DVD. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one thing that's weird, is that if I have a Criterion DVD, then I had to think about whether to upgrade to Blu-ray. or
Right.
not.
Right. Anyway, so the last one from that particular set of pickups is the film Starman.
Ah, good film.
Jeff Bridges and Karen Allen, and John Carpenter film. Again, I'm sure we'll eventually hit this with the group. We got a lot of John Carpenter fans there. I've heard good things. I'd like to see it. I'm a big Jeff Bridges fan. I think it would be pretty
Oh, yeah.
interesting to check this out eventually.
It's one of my father's favorites at the time. So, as you can see, I've got a Criterion already for the Royal Tannenbaums. But look how ratty this thing is.
I think I have that exact edition.
And this edition, I mean, first off, I got it used, but this edition really, this slipcover really kind of got ratty. But as you can see, it does have the simplistic cover underneath. And I don't think there's much difference between, but they didn't have a Blu-ray release for it for a while, if I recall. Because I think you could only get it on the DVD.
You might be right about that.
But you can see, I mean, I'll take this out here and show. It's pretty much the same thing. I just upgraded it to Blu-ray. Because it's one that, I think this is probably one of his most overrated films. Because I remember in college, people like going on and on and on about the Royal Tannenbaums. And I was like, what's... So, of course, my reaction, like it always is with people saying this is the best ever, you have to watch it, was, no, I refuse. And eventually later on I did go ahead and watch it, and I did. I liked it pretty well. It's not my favorite of his. Actually not. I like it better than Bottle Rocket so far, out of what I can say. And I like it better than some of the other ones, and you'll see. As a matter of fact, I can show this one off because this is one of the ones I did not upgrade, which was The Life Aquatic. What you can see is a similar thing for Criterion. They got a slipcover, but
Yeah.
you've got this. I debated going ahead and upgrading this to the Blu-ray, but I did not like The Life Aquatic. I really wanted to like this.
Right.
But I felt like this was a very poor job of writing on his part. I felt like it had so much potential to be so much better than it was, and so many of the jokes just fell flat for me.
Right.
And it's just to me it could have been so much more.
Yeah.
So I don't know. You might like it better, but this one was a disappointment to me.
I like it, but I agree with you that it was disappointing. I mean, I grew up, like, my hero when I was a kid was Jacques Cousteau, and I know that is clearly a reference to Cousteau and the crew of the Calypso and whatnot. And, yeah, I expected more. Of course, funny side note, I saw both of those in theaters. I saw Royal Tenenbaums with my mom and my aunt, and I saw Life Aquatic with my dad. In both cases, we went to see something else and ended up seeing that instead. And in both cases, I loved Tenenbaums when I saw it. And the other people that were with me, not as much. It was funny. But anyway, so my next one, we're going to get into my next theme, which I could have done. We're doing 7 each tonight. I could have done 7 on this one, except that Rightstuf still hasn't shipped the last 2 of this order. They still haven't shipped them.
Victim of their strange shipping practices.
Yeah. And one of them literally was added as a cart topper. It was something I was mildly interested in that was $4, and I was like, yeah. But these, for the most part, are all things I was more than mildly interested in. And the first one I'm going to mention, as is often the case, was a movie that I got right after we covered it. We didn't really cover it per se. We covered the series, but we kind of covered the movie when our anime discussion group covered Steins Gate. And I went ahead and watched a rip of the movie Load Region of Deja Vu, but now I have it. So I'll get to it eventually. It was really fun revisiting Steins Gate. I actually watched it twice in English and Japanese. So it's 3 times total that I've seen it. I've only seen the movie once so far. Talking about disappointments, it is a disappointment next to the series. It's still a really good movie. It's just the series kicks ass. So it's like... You know, it's one of those things where essentially the story was told. Why do you need to go back to it? But they had a creative way of doing it, so it worked in the end. But I'm glad to finally have it. They brought it down to a price I was willing to pay, so that's always a good thing. Actually, these were all... I have not yet bought a single item off the birthday sale.
I plan on making an order at the end of the week.
This was the pre-birthday Funimation sale.
I'm just getting
which
it.
Now they're bringing back all the Funimation stuff that was on the pre-sale. But yeah, that's what this whole order is the pre-birthday Funimation sale. But yeah, this one.
I'm waiting until Saturday because usually that Saturday before the sale ends, they bring back all the doorbusters. And I really want that My Hero Academia movie for the price they had for it. That was the only mega deal that I've been like, I've got to get it.
I'm waiting for Saturday because that's when I'll have money.
Yeah.
But even then, I'm still not sure I'm going to order. I'm trying to get better about that.
So, this one here is, of course, another one that, when I saw the cover, I didn't even have to know it was Wes Anderson, but I just love this cover for the Giantling Limited. And I'll admit, it's hard going from this to this, though I actually think this is probably one of the more in-depth covers that I have seen on one of these film things, because it does have some of the similar color palettes and so on, but you can see there's a heck of a lot more going on this. I really liked it, the Giantling Limited. I thought it was a great travel film, well written, well acted, and quite enjoyable overall from beginning to end. Not my favorite Wes Anderson film, but I liked it better than Life Aquatic. I liked it better than Royal Tenenbaums, and I liked it better than Bottle Rocket. Rushmore is kind of in between, but I did like this considerably.
I liked it a lot, too. And that was another one I saw in theaters. I think I saw it at the Bird. And we were talking before we start, and tune in for our next video this week, which will be the where we talk about the nominations for our movie awards. And we've got we're going to have a little bit of a discussion, I suppose, about the bit player cameo category that we created for this. I would say Darjeeling Limited has a couple great examples of bit player cameo. Like I think it's Bill Murray that plays the guy running to catch the train, and that's like his whole role.
Oh, yeah.
And I just thought that was amusing. You know what I mean? That's like... But anyway, Next up, actually, one of the ones I'm missing as part of this franchise, I'm waiting for them to ship. But I'm slowly but surely working on a franchise that, okay, so I talked about how Steins Gate, they finished the story and then came back, but did it in a good way. With Kuroshitsuji, they finished the story while the manga was still going on, and then came back with an abysmal second season that no one likes. And then they decided, let's retell the stories of the manga closer to the manga. So I already have Black Butler, Book of Circus. I'm waiting for the Book of the Atlantic. But I have Book of Murder. Which is essentially sort of your typical, as you can see, Sherlock Holmes-y style murder mystery story. The manga, I've gotten pretty far into it, and it's a pretty good manga. But they have several small arcs, and they elected to go with a season for Book of Circus. This, I think, is what, a 4-episode OVA? 2 episodes?
Yeah, that's one of the shorter
ones.
It's
a short 2-episode OVA. And then the Book of the Atlantic was a theatrical film. So it's kind of interesting where they've gone with this. I have not seen any of the 3 newer parts, but I look forward to eventually doing so.
Yeah. They're really good. Yeah. Book of the Atlantic was okay.
Well, it was a zombie story, so I didn't care as much for it anyway, but yeah. But that's where they unmasked the true intentions of the Undertaker, I believe.
So this is one of those that's one of the exceptions to the rule about the art.
Yeah.
At least to my knowledge. You've opened it up probably, so you'll be able to tell me.
I don't have the Criterion edition.
So I originally had this Fantastic Mr. Fox. Right. Which is, again, a delightful little animated feature. I really enjoy it, and this one really is the first time that you could feel the eccentricity. Like there's eccentricity from Wes Anderson, all this stuff, but
you
not
didn't
like
feel
here.
That in those others?
Not like in here.
I don't know about that. I thought they felt right in the same vein.
And I really did like this on multiple levels. It is probably one of my favorite animated features of that year. And maybe not my favorite, but definitely one of my favorites. And I just love the unusual eccentricity.
I will say, if that film had come out this year, I would have nominated most of the cast for vocal acting. Because they had phenomenal vocal acting in that movie.
To go to show you how much Criterion loves Wes Anderson, this film actually got a Criterion release, and Criterion hates doing that with animated.
They have 2.
So
2.
But look at the cover. Look at how different that is.
That's cool looking.
I wonder if when I take this out, if it will have it, but the color scheme on here does not show me that muted color.
Yeah.
So my guess is that it is not. Because you can see how different this spine looks from that spine. And that goes the same almost all the way down. They're very similar spine. The spine work is very similar. I mean, I'm not showing Life Aquatic there, but it has a similar spine.
Right.
And then you put this up next to it. It doesn't quite.
Not quite.
So it's just kind of weird, but I do love the way it looks. I'm actually not... I'm not feeling bad about... Actually, this is one I felt really good about upgrading because I felt this needed a Blu-ray treatment anyway. So this needed to be Blu-ray.
Cool.
And it is a really cool-looking edition.
I want to get that. And incidentally, he used the term delightful. Take note of that. The film is co-written by Noah Baumbach. It's one of the few times you'll hear Noah Baumbach and delightful in the same sentence.
Indeed.
Anyway, speaking of delightful, next up we have a spin-off of a very interesting series that I have in my anime collection. I actually very much enjoyed this series, but I will fully admit it's not going to be to all tastes. And that is the franchise that proudly declares that they're winning the war on pants.
Oh, God.
Which is Strike Witches, but specifically Brave Witches. It's a spin-off that I have not yet seen. I look forward to seeing this. It looks pretty fun. The series is fun. It's one of those really, really weird things that's a product of Japan where they will take a random thing, in this case fighter pilots and their planes, and turn it into something to involve cute girls doing cute girl things. Although in this case, they're fighting aliens and it's just weird. But, and yes, for reasons never explained in this particular universe, girls wear full dress above the waist and bloomers below. Go figure.
Yeah,
But-
no pants, no skills, no problem. Oh, God.
But if you are willing to roll with that, especially if you're an aviation nut, they really, really do their homework on the aviation figures and history. And so that's kind of cool. It's just as weird. But this is one that I wanted to get. I want to complete the franchise. I'd love to watch the rest of it. It's not high art, but it is fun.
So this next one is probably the one that I debated more than the Royal Tannenbaums, because I really wanted the Royal Tannenbaums upgraded.
Mm-hmm.
So I've wanted that for years.
Hmm.
But this is one that's very different, which would be Moonrise Kingdom.
Hmm.
So I had the standalone Blu-ray. Then I upgraded to... Well, I didn't really upgrade it. I did this to save room.
Converted, yeah.
So, because this is a nice little set.
That is a nice set.
And it has all of the special features that the individual releases had. So, no brainer. But today, which is why I finally got this in the mail, we have Moonrise Kingdom that arrived. This one also has a bit of a cover issue, but I think that it should be okay. It's got, because I can see the light from here, I might even go ahead and open this to see. I wasn't going to with Fantastic Mr. Fox. That's too obviously not. But
I want this one too.
but I do like the way it looks. Probably gonna regret
That's
that.
very nice looking.
No, I thought maybe. But it is a nice looking set.
Mm-hmm.
I've got to figure out a way to. This little bit at the end.
Quite probably my favorite Wes Anderson film.
A very good film. I liked it. It's about these kind of kids that are kind of outcasts in their own right, and then they end up running away from home. And it is, like I say, delightful is a good word for Wes Anderson himself. Most of his stuff is there. I kind of like that too. You see, you got the little raccoon there. You got like some cool postcards and such. So it's a lot of cool stuff that you would expect from Wes
I
Anderson.
love the raccoon DVD.
Yes. And now I can put this inside the case,
Nice.
and that should still go fairly well.
Okay. So, another franchise known even more than Strike Witches, probably, for its fan service, which, amusingly enough, one of my brothers, not the one that you would expect in this case, introduced me to a coworker of his who happened to be a big anime nut. And we talked about some different shows, and he highly, 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 highly recommended a particular series to me that I had recently acquired, High School DxD.
That's odd. If it's coming from the brother, I'm surprised.
Well, not the brother, a friend, a coworker.
I was going to say that'd be definitely odd coming from him.
But I have the really nice deluxe limited edition. I wanted to keep that up through the franchise. The problem is there's 4 friggin' seasons, and they hold their price pretty well.
Yeah.
So, and I didn't want to go from limited all the way down to like Classics Edition or whatever. So I've been slowly biding my time. I still have just 2 of the seasons. The first one and now the 4th one, High School DxD Hero. But I do have this one. I'm remembering correctly, it's the 4th one, right?
I think so.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think it's New, then Born, then Hero, I think. But anyway, so I now have this. This is not a show for kids, from what I understand.
Yeah, for kids.
It's one I've been wanting to see, partly because of that amusing anecdote, but I've just been wanting to see it for a while. God knows when I'll get to any of these, but one day.
Oh, that's much better.
Of course, I don't really want to watch this one until I get the other 2 seasons, but whatever, we'll get there.
Another one that I really debated, and he showed this upgrade himself a while back.
No, I don't have the upgrade
I thought
yet.
you'd gotten
Nope,
this.
I have the basic one.
But I love this cover for Grand Budapest Hotel. We saw this in theaters, and I think this is one of my favorite Wes Anderson films. I don't know what it is about this one, but this one is the most Wes Anderson-y of all of the Wes Anderson stuff that I have watched. And
It is that.
and that is a good thing if you like Wes Anderson. It could be a bad thing, but So I kind of hate getting rid of this because I like that cover. But I went ahead and upgraded to this, which is kind of cool. I think this one. I mean, you can see this does have like the pink facade on it, but I do like that. I do kind of like that artwork. I feel like they decided to give up on the old style artwork, the simplistic, and add more creative cover schemes around Fantastic Mr. Fox. I mean, look at that. That is definitely not like the others. This is closer to that, and it's still pretty darn cool. I really like this film about this gentleman who's running a hotel and working to save the hotel. And it just, I don't know. I like to watch this multiple times. It's one of the few Wes Anderson films that I will watch again and again and enjoy it each time.
And I maintain to this day, Ray Fahn was robbed when he did not get at least an Oscar nomination. They gave the whole film a crapload of nominations, and the star of the movie didn't get a nod, and it was like one of his best roles. I mean, go figure. Anyway, last one for me this week is another franchise. I'm doing I think all these are tied to franchises. I didn't realize that. They're all tied to franchises I've already started. Another theme. This is one that I have the original series, the movie for that series, and I have the movie for this series, but I did not yet have, partly because I really wanted the limited edition he has, and, again. But anyway, that is Love Live Sunshine, the spin-off to the Love Live School Idol Project series, which, if you've heard me talk about before, Love Live is one of the most addictive series out there. I watched the first season in a day. It's just incredibly addictive. It's a lot of fun. A lot of good music, good performances. They really, really, really brought their A game to creating those performances. A little bit of clunky CG aside, but for the most part, I have not seen the Sunshine franchise yet, but I have been introduced to the music from it. I look forward to seeing this one day. Yeah.
I've only not seen the movie, but I've seen the series Sunshine.
Good deal.
And I think you have the premium editions of Love Live. Is that right?
Of the
main
NIS
series.
premium?
Yeah.
I do. I have the premium of both seasons and the movie, and I have a Japanese limited edition direct from Bandai that is pretty cool too. It's one of the few movies where I have more than one copy, and I'm keeping both copies.
And I've alas only got the standard edition, and I'm not going to fork out the kind of money to get those premium sets now.
Well, I didn't seek out the Bandai. It came like with a bundle of a whole bunch of other
yeah.
stuff, but that was like, oh, that was cool.
No, this is not a pickup, and this is one I will eventually upgrade because it's already damaged on the. You can see the cover is damaged.
Oh, that's. Yeah.
But I got it really cheap though. So and that's Isle of Dogs. And the only reason why I don't have this one on Criterion is because
There is no
there
Criterion.
is no Criterion of it right
Which is
now.
also the reason I don't have the movie, because I was like, I'll just wait for the Criterion. It's Wes Anderson. They'll do it eventually.
Yeah, so and I like it. It's a really good film. I
Yeah.
enjoyed this one. I thought it was weaker than Fantastic Mr.
Yeah.
Fox, but it was still an enjoyable film.
Oh, yeah.
And I do look forward to watching. Was it French? Not French Exit. What's
The French Dispatch.
French Dispatch? I
Yeah.
do look forward to seeing that
Is
eventually.
that this fall?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's going to be fun.
Yeah.
I look forward to upgrading this to Criterion. I look forward to seeing the Criterion release, the inevitable one of the other one, and maybe an eventual Wes Anderson collection when he's decided he's done. That'll be interesting. Criterion Wes Anderson collection.
Yep.
Actually, that is something that if he were to say, "Okay, this is my swan song, I'm done," that is something I could see Criterion doing.
Oh, I'm sure they will.
Because they love Wes Anderson.
I'm sure they will.
And it'll be a whimsical looking set, to be sure.
Well, hopefully. And hopefully they would do more than just repackage all of his stuff.
Yeah.
Hopefully it would be a lot of new stuff, too. And, you know.
Maybe a lot of his short films and stuff would be... Because a lot of his short films haven't made it to these. So that would be kind of cool. Is have a Wes Anderson collection, have all the short films that he's put on there.
Cool.
So with that being said, I hope you've enjoyed this little Wes Anderson-y pickup with some various anime and other things.
Some anime.
But of course, if you like this, hit that like button, hit that subscribe, and of course, share. But we'll see you on the next one.